Hello and welcome to the Chemist Warehouse Adelaide Invitational, where many of Australia's finest athletes will be competing this evening. Now, I'm joined trackside by Matt Lynch. Lynchy, we're going to get a glimpse at a couple of athletes who have become household names since Tokyo. The first one is the Flying Mullet. He's got his own nickname in Wikipedia, Rowan Browning, who was just sensational in Tokyo in that heat when he took down Johan Blake. But he won't have it all his own way, will he, in that men's 100 metres?
No, I'm so excited. He's going to open his season here. We've seen a lot of the other sprinters, they've done a few 60s, they've done some 100s, but, he's up against Aidan Murphy, the hometown hero, who only a couple of weeks ago ran 10:35 as an 18-year-old, turning 19 this year, a state open record, and he's in the lane next to Rowan Browning. That's going to be exciting.
And he comes from some good lineage, doesn't he? His mum, Tanya Van Heer, was an Australian athlete herself in the 100, 200, 400 and did some special things in those Commonwealth Games in 1998 where she won 3 medals. So I'm going to be watching him to see how that race pans out. But the women's sprint has serious depth, doesn't it?
It's so deep. You've got Riley Day having her season debut. We saw what she did in Tokyo. Ella Connolly's been killing it. Toria Lewis, the youngsters coming through. There's youngsters in every event. You can't knock out. There's also, Mia Grosser's coming back and she's flying. She beat Hannah Bassich in Canberra in the heat. So it's going to be exciting. And most of those guys and girls are running the 200 later on as well. So we're going to see them a few times tonight.
And the exciting thing about that is that I feel like the 4x100 metre relay has a genuine chance at doing something special leading into these next cycles. Paris Olympics will be their goal. What about the 800 metres? There's one athlete, before we talk about the other household name, Peter Bolt, there's one athlete in the women's we're used to seeing her in the 400 metres, but Benderia Boya has stepped up to the 800 metres and we get to see her first ever 800, and I think it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, she's underneath Justin Rinaldi now, who obviously looks after Peter Bowl and Joseph Dang, Jeff Risley. But she's not going to have it her own way. Ellie Sanford's been killing it, Tess Kisop-Cole, Georgia Griffiths in the field. So it's actually going to be a real test for Benderia, and I'm expecting it could be fireworks tonight.
I think it will be fireworks, but that men's 800 metres, let's go back to Tokyo. Pete Bowl, he was 4th. Now, that is an incredible effort off the podium, and what he did through the rounds. He had Australia talking. He's in one of those events where it was the most watched event at the Olympic Games, and he's a real household name now, isn't he, Pete Bowl?
Yeah, exactly. And look, he last year before Tokyo, he ran the fastest time in Australia by an Australian. He went to Tokyo, ran the Oceania record back-to-back, and he's also got, Jared McAuliffe got 2nd at Nationals, Jack Lunn got 3rd at Nationals, so we've got all the medalists here, and they're testing themselves out. The meet record could go, but it's very tough. It's 1:45.15. If it gets near that, mate, we're on for a big season.
Well, we could talk athletics forever, but we better throw up to Glenn Turner because the first event, the men's triple jump, and then the women's steeple is about to start.